So the next thing for us to do is install our case fans, and they come in two different versions. So this is the standard fan where the fan blades are round the right way. And with most standard fans, if you want to have your fan set to intake on the case, you have to reverse it. And the big problem with that is the back of this fan being on display looks awful compared to the front of the fan blades. Now Phanteks have thought about this, and they offer these fans in two different versions. The regular ones with the fan blades the normal way round, and you've also got these reversed fan blades. So the reversed ones, this would be set to intake on the side of the case, so it would be bringing air in, but you would also have the good side of the fan facing into the case. So we're going to start off by installing the fans on the side, and we're going to have 4 of these set to intake. Okay, so the first thing for us to do is to connect our fans up together. You'll notice on the side of the fan we've got some DRGB effects here, and on this side, this is where the fans are actually going to connect together. You can pick out that orientation because you've got these little lines which are going to go together from one fan to the next fan. So you're going to want to make sure you line them up this way round. The other important thing to note, there's a little sticker here which tells us this is the input side of the fan. So we're going to have an input lined up with an output on the next fan. So if we look here, we've got little indentations here. And if we take another fan, you've got little bits that protrude. So what we're going to want to do is line the two fans up together. And what we'll notice, we'll have an input here, output, input, output. And you're able to connect up to 4 fans together. So I'm just going to line 4 fans up. So what I'm going to do now is just remove the little bits of paper telling us which side is the input. Then we're going to use this little connector to join the fans together. So it's just a matter of lining the fans up at the side and then pushing the connector into place. And then just working our way along, making sure we've got the fans lined up correctly, and then just a little bit of pressure to clip it into place. On the other side of the fans, you'll notice there's no actual connectors between the fans, so we've got these plain plastic clips that we can push into place. So the big advantage of us joining all our fans together is that we're actually going to need to plug one cable into one of the fans, and that's going to allow us to control up to 4 fans with this one cable. Now it is really important that you plug the cable into the section of the fan labelled input and not the output on the end of the fan. If you've already pulled off the stickers and you can't remember which was which, the input side is the side with the little indentations in it. So all we're going to want to do is take this end of the connector and push it all the way in at the side here, and then all we need to do is rotate it round and it's going to lock into place. So the cable that we have plugged in has 2 different connectors coming from it. The first is a 4-pin PWM connector, which we need to plug into our motherboard, and that'll let our motherboard control the speed of the fans. The other cable is for the RGB lighting effects on the fans, and on the end of it we've got a JST connector. So Phanteks use these, and if you've got a Phanteks fan hub like we do in our case, we're going to be able to plug it directly into the fan hub. The other nice thing is we've got an additional connector here, so we are going to be able to daisy chain more devices into it. If you don't have somewhere to plug in a JST connector, that's not a problem, because with the triple pack of the fans, you get this little adapter that plugs into here, and then we've got a standard 3-pin 5-volt ARGB connector, and you can plug that into an ARGB header on your motherboard. For this particular build, I'm going to be plugging directly into our case's controller, so I'm not going to install this. So Phanteks have gone all out in making these fans look really clean, so they have provided little covers to cover over the screw holes. So if you're installing this on a radiator and you're going to be screwing down into the radiator, obviously install the fans onto the radiator first of all before removing the covers on, because otherwise you're not going to be able to screw it in. We're going to be screwing in from the back, so we can go ahead and put these screw hole covers into place. So we've got the double ones for where the fans are joined together. It's just a matter of pushing them down into place. And then we've got these single ones to go on at the ends. Phanteks are also really keen to make sure all the corners look nice and clean as well. So we've got these blank plastic corner plates for the ends that you're not going to be putting a fan cable onto. So it's just a matter of, again, lining it up at the side and then moving it round to the side and clipping into place. And then we can repeat that for the other 2 corners. So that's our fans looking really clean from every angle, and we've just got this dual cable coming from them. We can then set our fans onto the fan bracket. So as you'd expect, the fans do come with the standard fan screws, but as well in the box, Phanteks also include radiator screws. So this is going to be really useful depending on how you're planning on using the fans. So we can go ahead and secure the fans to the bracket using the standard fan screws. So just before I set our side fan bracket into place, I'm going to pass the cables coming from it through to the back of the case. I'm then going to set our side bracket up into place. And then as I push it backwards, I'm just going to make sure I keep the cables tight and pull them all the way through to the back. So I've added 3 reverse fans to our bottom fan bracket, and setting them up is exactly the same as the 4 fans at the back. I've got 2 standard fans set as exhaust at the back. We can then secure the fans into place at the back. We've got 3 system fan headers down at the bottom of the motherboard, so I'm just going to bring our PWM cables through and get them plugged into the headers at the bottom of the motherboard. And then we can pull the excess cable through to the back. I'm then going to plug the RGB cable coming from our rear fans into channel B1 on our hub, and then plug our side fans into channel B2. So that's going to leave our bottom fans into channel A2. Phanteks has sent me loads of these D30-120 fans, so I'm planning to use these on the radiator. I'm then going to take the RGB cable coming from the fans on the radiator and plug it onto the daisy chainable connector coming from our bottom fans.